Hey guys, welcome back. So this is my weekly review video and I'm going to talk about, my weekly statistics in YouTube, my revenue and expenses for building an online business, content creator business. I'll share all that information on the back end. And then I'm also right now just going to talk a little bit about what I've been experiencing this last week that might help you on your journey as well. Okay, so before we get started though, I just wanted to share a funny little story. My daughter this morning was in my arms and she was like looking at my face like this. And I'm like, what are you looking at? And she's like, you have bruises. I was like, bruises? I was like, where, on my nose or something? Because she looked like she was looking at my nose. And she's like, no, your eyes. I was like, I was like, oh, no, I'm just tired. They're just tired eyes. In my head, I'm thinking, yeah, because I had to wake up for you 4 times last night, all night long. I felt like I was up with her. And she's like, oh, what have you been doing in your sleep? like, why do you have bruises on your eyes? And I was just like, the great thing about 3-year-olds is they're so honest. Like, they're just like, you look awful. What's wrong with you? It's just like, thanks, dear. Love you too. But yeah. I just thought it was funny, so I want to share with you. And also, it's always in my head whenever I hear her say some things that could be totally misconstrued in a very bad way. Like, no, my husband is not beating me. I do not have black and blue eyes. I could just think of how, like, she goes to daycare and it's like, yeah, mom had black eyes today. Like, I don't know what she did in her sleep. Like, it's just funny when you think about how they perceive the world and how they describe things, and how if they describe those to other people out of context, how it could be totally misconstrued and problematic. I just think it's so funny. And I always wonder, like, what it's like to be a daycare nanny, because they must hear some really crazy stories from their children. But yeah, I just think it's really funny. Anyway, okay, so yes, apparently I look very tired today. But I'm still showing up, y'all. That is the secret to success on YouTube. I still show up with my black eyes and tiredness or whatever it is that she thinks, how beautiful she thinks I look today. So some things I want to talk about with regards to building a business online and doing this YouTube journey is there were some questions in the comments of my videos this week. Someone was asking, like, how much time are you actually spending on this? I think, because some people want to get on YouTube just to have like a semi-passive or passive income. And first of all, I don't think any income is really passive unless it's like stocks or something like that, where you just put your money in and then you watch it grow. Like, I think that could be passive income, right? But there was obviously some work to make the money to be able to put the money in stocks. So part of it is not passive, but that result would be passive. But with YouTube, I think it's mostly semi-passive, because you do need to keep producing videos to be relevant and all of those things. But anyway, if you are looking at YouTube just for ad revenue, like, for example, if I was just going to do YouTube for ad revenue, I would be spending a lot less time doing what I'm doing. It would probably be cut in a third of the amount of time that I work. So for YouTube, I would say, and then you could cut that in even less time if you hired an editor, right? So basically, if I was just doing YouTube for YouTube ads to make that ad revenue, I would be making my 3 videos a week, and maybe even I would taper off to 2 a week once I started making ad revenue and I just felt like I didn't need to make 3 videos a week anymore, if I got like my channel large enough or whatever. So I might taper down, and I might even use less hours a week in order to complete my job for the week. So to give you an idea, with YouTube and just doing ad revenue, I post 3 videos a week. It probably takes me about 15 hours to record and edit and post those videos. So, about 5 hours per video. Some videos take longer, some videos take less. That's why I say it's about 5 hours, because like this video, vlog style, takes a lot longer for me to edit because I tend to ramble. So it just depends on how long it would take you to edit your videos. Plus a 5-minute video is going to take a lot less time to edit than, say, a 10 or 15-minute video. And the other thing to think about too is, like, if I was just doing this for ad revenue, I would do very different types of videos. I probably wouldn't do much evergreen content where you answer simple questions or answer, basic questions about what you're doing, or tutorial-based things. I would do probably mostly trending videos, because I would want to get the most views, the most subscribers, and I would want to grow my channel as quickly as possible. So the information I was providing would be more surface level, and it wouldn't be so in-depth, I imagine. If that was my goal, like just to make YouTube ad revenue, then I would go trending videos all the way. Whereas on my channel, I do 1 trending video a week, and the other 2 are more educational, information informational. So that would be something I would adjust. And thus, I think it would take less time, because if it's a surface level video, it's not so deep, it would be faster to produce. In my opinion, I'm not, yeah, because I think my trending videos usually are a lot easier to edit and post. So yeah, if you're looking to just do this for ad revenue and you want to do even less than 3 videos a week, you could spend probably 5 hours a week doing it and see success. Of course, the growth of your channel might be slower if you're doing less videos, but if you're doing more trending videos, it might not be, you know. So it's just like a trade-off of what you want to do and what you're trying to achieve. So I think it's important to think about that. Since I'm trying to build this into a business that can be my career for the next 20 years, I'm going at it very differently. So I am working at least 40 hours a week, if not more. So my daughter's in daycare every day now for 8 hours a day. So I'm definitely working 8 hours a day on YouTube or on my business, something with regards to my business. And the 3 things I'm focusing on right now are YouTube videos. So I'm constantly uploading my videos. Number 2 is my one-on-one coaching calls. So that is a source of income and a source of time that I need to focus on those. And then the 3rd thing is my high ticket, more intensive program that people are in, where it's a 6-month program. So those are my 3 main focuses. And then of course, there's all the other stuff that goes along with that, like emails, accounting things like sending invoices. There's all that stuff too that goes into building a business as well. That is my main focus. And I would say at a minimum, it takes me 40 hours a week. And the reason I say at a minimum is because I do night meetings as well. So after my kids have gone to bed, I'm usually working 1 to 2 hours at night. So it just depends on how many coaching calls I have or how many clients I have that want to meet me in the evening. But as of right now, I'm booked solid for the next 90 days because my calendar goes out 90 days on Calendly. So my evening shifts or slots are all taken right now. So that's about how many hours a week I spend. And also, if you want to know about how you would break down your hours if you're doing just YouTube for YouTube ads, you would be breaking that down into filming, editing, and posting, and then also commenting on the videos. And of course, idea generations. That's what would be going into the time amount of 5 hours a week if you're posting one video. Another thing I wanted to talk about is with regards to growing your business. Now that I'm doing this, I'm experiencing a lot of things and I'm learning a lot of things very quickly. And sometimes these things are obvious, like to my mentor. I have a business mentor and they're really obvious to him, but they're not obvious to me until I go through it. And then I'm like, now I see why you were doing that. Now I see why you were pushing me in that way. So for example, for this coaching program that I'm doing that's 6 months long, the high ticket item that I sell, that when I was originally doing that, he was saying, take in 40 people, at least aim to get 40 people into the program. And I was like, there is no way I can provide amazing value to 40 people at this, at the level I would want to provide the value. And he's like, yes, you can. I was like, no, there's no way. Because in the program, it's one-on-one coaching. There's one-on-one coaching calls that are an hour each. You get a bunch of those. Then you also get access to me 24/7 through DMs or emails or however you want to contact me whenever you want. So just those 2 things alone take a lot of time in my head. I'm like 40 people contacting me whenever they want to, plus 40 people having 1-hour meetings with me every other week. It seemed like I couldn't do it. We met in the middle and he said, okay, well, try and take in 20 then for your program. And so I ended up taking in 22 and I was feeling a little bit nervous about that, to be honest. But now I realize it's all okay and it's not too many people. And I'm going to explain why. There's a few reasons why this is the case. Number 1 is because not all people work the same. So there are some people that want your attention 24/7. Like there are those people that will message you every day or twice a day or whatever, and really want to have your feedback constantly. And then there's people on the other end of the spectrum who you don't even hear from between calls. Like they don't actually take advantage of or need the extra support of DMs and emails to you daily. They have the meeting with you, the 1-hour meeting, they get their goals and their plan of action from me, and then they just go for it. And then I meet with them again in 2 weeks. And I'm actually checking in with those people. I'm reaching out to them and being like, how's it going? Have you done your videos for this week? Is everything okay? Do you need anything from me? Like I check in with those people. I think that it really is interesting because in my head, I just assumed, well, if I'm offering 24/7 guidance and advice, people would jump on that and be on it. But no, people have busy lives, people work, people are building YouTube on the side, so they're not constantly, needing you. And then there are some people that maybe aren't working full time or that are just reach out more often. So it's a personality based thing. And I think that is something that I didn't realize before doing this. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I want to share what I'm learning as I go. The other thing is people have dropped out. So I've had 4 people drop out of the 22. And it has all been for the reason of, well, one was actually for the reason like they were expecting something different from the program. So that was one person. And when I actually got them into the program, I was thinking in my head, I don't think this program's right for them. Because it's a new YouTuber program and they had so much knowledge and skills regarding YouTube. So it really wasn't for them. We had worked together on coaching calls in the past. So they were a client of mine already and we'd had really great success on the coaching calls. So I was like, it might just be like a cheaper way to have access to me all the time if you want someone to bounce feedback off of. But it ended up not working, which was totally fine with me because I totally agree. Like he's at a different level than the people that I'm working with. And so that was another learning experience of like, even if someone wants to come into the program, if I know it's not a right fit, I really want to in the future discourage them from doing it in a way that's like, it's like when you go to an interview and let's say you don't have a job and you're way overqualified for the job and people are like interviewing you and like they know you could do this job easily because you're way overqualified, right? But they also know that you will be very bored in this job because you are so overqualified. It would be like doing something so remedial to you, so they don't hire you, even though you're like, why don't they hire me? I could do this so easily. Like I could do this in my sleep, right? But they know that it won't be challenging enough to you and you probably will lose interest and you'll probably just be looking for another job the whole time that you're with them, right? So that's why they don't hire you. And I think that this is also something that I learned with this process is that if I know in my mind that I really don't think that this is going to benefit them, I need to say that. Even if they're like, no, I want to try. I need to be like, I'm sorry, but I really don't think this program is for you. I could also say we can try and see what happens, of course, but I do think that it's kind of a waste of our time if I already know in my heart that it's not going to be beneficial to them. So that is something I've learned and really paying attention to that. Another thing I've learned is that some people are just so excited and want to be in your program, but they truly can't afford it or they're not willing to afford it. And by willing, I mean, for me, I could not afford my mentor when I purchased his services. I could not afford it. I had to go into my savings and take out my savings and pay for him, right? And that was a hard thing to do because those savings were for our family and in an emergency. And I was using it to grow a business, but in my mind, I was using it to help our family. But like I found a way, because I believed in myself, I believed in what I was doing, and I knew I would succeed if I just had the guidance of someone else helping me. And so I found a way to pay him, even though I didn't have the money to do that, right? So like, I feel like, and in those calls, I can almost see and feel in my gut when people are so excited about this program, but they also aren't willing to spend the money on it. So, and in those cases, I should also maybe offer them something else. But my point is that it is going to happen and to take that into account. And that now I understand why my coach was like, shoot for 40 people, get 40 people in the program. And I was going for 20. I was going for half. Like that's where we met. That's where him and I were like, okay, 20 is pushing it. Because I originally only wanted 10 in the group, right? And he was like, you can do 40 at least, And I was like, no, okay, 20. Like we like went back and forth. It was kind of like, it reminded me of whenever my kids are going to bed, they're like, read 2 books. And I'm like, no, 1 book. They're like, 4 books. I'm like, no, 2 books. Okay, 2 books. It's just like this like back and forth. But anyway, okay. So yeah, so that the reason he was saying, I think, to take more people in was because he knew that some people would drop out. That was an interesting thing that I learned and I want to share it with you. And also another thing I learned too was that when I say 30-day, you really want to pay attention to what you're saying. Like I said, 30-day refund. If you show up, you do the work and you're not happy with it, you can get out. And what people heard was 30-day refund regardless. You know what I mean? Even though in text it states what I just said. It's like 30-day refund, you have to show that you did the work and you showed up and you blah, 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 right? But 3 people that got out, or 2 people got out before it even started. So they paid me, and then the program didn't even start. Like they had a meeting scheduled like a week out, but then they canceled before that meeting even happened. And they were just like, I can't do this financially. We've fallen on some financial difficulties. We can't do it. And so I was like, of course, fine. I'm not going to force you to stay in this program or pay for it if you don't have the money to do it and not invested in it. So of course, I'm not going to keep anyone in the program. But the one thing I want to say is that when people pay you, and to pay attention to how they pay you, for me, they're paying through PayPal, and PayPal takes about 4% of international fees for me when I work with people abroad. And pretty much everyone's abroad because no one is in Finland that I'm working with. For example, someone paid me $300 or $317 for their monthly fee. And then they wanted to get out before the 30 days was over. Not because I'm not doing my job, but just because they came onto financial difficulties. And so when I refunded their money, I deducted the fees. So the fees were $17.86 is what I was charged for receiving $317 from someone. It was $17.86 was the fees from PayPal. So in my contract, I state you will get a full refund minus service fees, or it says something more legally, lawfully correct, whatever. It says something like that in the contract. So when they get a refund, they're getting the refund amount less the fees. Because it doesn't cost me anything with PayPal to do a refund. It just costs me when I get the money into my account, into the PayPal account. So I gave her a refund of $300 instead of $317 because it cost $17.86 for the payment to come through in the first place. So that's just something to keep in mind too, that if people are paying you and then they want a refund, or if they want to get out of the program, then you want to keep those fees in mind, because I don't want to swallow $20, for someone that all of a sudden decides they wanted to be in the program, but then they don't want to be in the program. You know what I mean? Like they were just like all happy about it, but then they back out. So I just think it's something to mention so that you can protect yourself from that situation. Because if they had paid, like if they had done a shorter payment plan, let's say they paid $2,800 or something for the first payment, and then the fees of that was 4%, like that would be a much bigger chunk of money to swallow when I gave them back the refund. So it's really important to think about these things in advance so that you don't screw yourself over when you are having your 30-day guarantee, or when you are allowing people to get out of the program because of financial distress. Okay, hopefully that helps. I really just want to provide you guys with everything I'm learning so that it might help you. One thing that I experienced that was really interesting is that after I made all the sales and I had money, and I had gone from not having money, like worrying about how to pay my gas, worrying about what groceries to buy, trying to minimize everything, and also feeling terrible about my husband, like shouldering all the bills for the past 6 months or so of me being unemployed. All of that guilt, all of that stress, all of that blah, blah, blah went away in that 2 weekends where I got people into this high ticket priced program. And all of that went away, but I didn't feel happy. It was really strange. I actually was, I was very low energy and very, like almost, I don't want to say depressed, but I was not waking up with joy. I wasn't waking up energized. I was feeling very heavy, and I was really confused. And I was talking to my mentor about this as well. Like, how do I traverse this? I should be amazing. I should be over the moon. And I was really grateful. But I think the thing that was weighing me down so much is that I was maybe in my subconscious somewhere thinking, sabotaging thoughts, or thinking like, this isn't real. Like, this doesn't happen to real people like me. Like, is this really happening? Or, I didn't trust it. It was like I almost didn't trust, even though I saw the money in my PayPal account. I just didn't trust it. It just didn't seem real. Like I hadn't caught up with the fact that this was actually working, that what I was doing on YouTube was actually working, and I was actually helping people, and people were willing to pay for my advice and pay for my help. And it's just like, what started out as like this fun journey to kind of prove to people that you can grow on YouTube, and ultimately I just wanted to make money from YouTube ads, has totally transformed into a business very rapidly. And it almost felt like one, I didn't deserve it, perhaps, and two, like it was a house of cards. Like the wind would blow it away. It just felt so. It was such a weird place to be in. And then I also started getting almost mad at myself for not being happy. You know, like it was really weird. It was such a weird experience. I just want to express it because you might feel this, or maybe you felt this before. Like, you know, and I think that quote is so true. I don't know what quote it is, but like this idea, maybe it's more of a concept, this idea that it's the journey that you need to enjoy, not necessarily getting to your goals. Because when you get to your goals, it's like boom, and it's over. But the journey to get there is what is awesome, or is what you should be paying attention to or enjoying along the way, and not just looking only at the goals. And my journey up until my goals had been phenomenal, like so fun, meeting so many people, creating Skool memberships, like engaging with the awesome people that are trying to grow their channels, that have the same energy as me, the same like vision of their future and things they want to achieve. And it like that was awesome. Everything along the journey has been awesome. And then I reached that goal and I just felt exhausted. So I thought it was really interesting. And maybe some of my therapy followers could like chime in on what this is. It probably has some term like where you, where you finally get what you want. And then it's like, I don't know. It's not that I got what I want. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really interesting. And it could also be I was just so exhausted. Like I was working so hard to do the launch. And then once the launch was over and I had all the money in my account, and I didn't get a second to breathe until I had to start working with all those people that I got into the program, right? So it was just like, oh, I finally got here. No, next, right away, start working again. You know, it was like, I didn't even, next time if I do a launch and the launch, the selling, this is another thing that I think is a good advice or a good thing to know, like in hindsight, that if I do a launch in the future, I'm going to make sure that the selling days, like I was selling on the weekends. So I did selling for 2 weekends. The weekend that I'm done selling, I will give myself at least 2 weeks before the program starts. So I will have some time to like take a breath before I jump into then helping people, because doing a launch, I had no idea, is so exhausting. It's so draining. It's so emotional. There's so many things that go into it. So I think that it's really important to be cognizant of the fact that you are going to be so drained after you make all those sales or after you do all that work. And then even though it's exciting and it's fun and it's amazing, your body, it's kind of like in life, if you know you have to do something, you work really hard to get there. And then once you get there, it's like your body almost knows you made it there and it can get sick. Do you know what I mean? Like my husband works his butt off all the time at work. And whenever he has vacation, he's sick the first week of vacation because it's like all that stress, go, 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 go. He finally stops, takes a breath. And then his body's like, oh yeah, we need heal. You need to sleep. We need to keep you in bed, you know? Like, so I think it was something like that. Like I'd worked so hard and it was so emotional and all this stuff was all new to me. In fact, you know, what was really scary is I couldn't remember my bank account. Like in Finland, you use your bank account for everything, to pay for bills, but to log into systems like daycare systems, all kinds of systems, you use your bank account and there's like a number you have. It's kind of like a social security number in the US, right? You use your social security for everything in the US, or at least you used to 10 years ago when I lived there. And I forgot that number. I was so exhausted and so like learning so many new things that I couldn't even remember my number that I used like every day. That was really scary. I was like, oh my God, do I have dementia? Is this like the start of dementia? And then after that weekend of sales, and once I started working in the program and everything, and it's been like 2 weeks, all of those numbers came back. It was just like, my brain was like, I can't handle anymore. I need more sleep. I cannot process anything else. And so I thought that was also really interesting. So I don't think I have dementia. I don't think I have the start of dementia, hopefully not. But it was a really scary moment. And I think that also is just your body is like, the heaviness I felt was related to the fact that I was exhausted, and it was a bunch of new things. Anyway, okay, so I'm rambling too much now. But yeah, let's get into the statistics. And I really hope that sharing these experiences with you help you on your journey somehow, and maybe help you to plan for this, or even just when you get to those moments and you feel that, you'll be like, oh yeah, Alexa said she felt the same way. So maybe it could make you feel better. Or if you feel awesome and you could be like, yeah, this is nice. I feel much better than Alexa did. That could be good too. Okay, let's get into computer now and I'll share the statistics for the week. Thanks. Okay, so here we are in my weekly monetization chart, or the Excel spreadsheet that follow every week for you to look at. And I'm in week 22 of my journey. For those of you that are new here, it took me 10 weeks to get monetized. So everything in green was before monetization. And then when I hit this gold bar, that's when I've been monetized since then. And if I can make this bigger. And so you can look at all this information if you want to. You can pause the video and kind of look at it if you're curious. But I'm just going to talk about what has happened this past week. So here we are, week 22. I have 17,181 subscribers at the moment right now. Had 52,000 views this week, 3,800 watch time hours, average viewed percentage 14%, click-through rate 5, subs gained 1644, so 1,644 subs gained. It is going down each week. So it was 3734 2 weeks ago, 2,000 last week, now 16 this week. And I want to point out, this is a very common theme on my channel. So look, we start at the beginning. Right away, I got 172 subscribers. Then it went down. Then it bounced up again. Then it went down. Then it bounced up. In the beginning, it was a little more bouncy back and forth. But let's say, okay, let's take it. Now that I was getting bigger, I had I had 1,600, 1,500, 1,000, 600, and then it started going back up again, 749. Then it went back down again, 369, down again. Then it started going back up again, up again, really big up again. Now it's going back down again, but down again. So I just want to point that out. The journey is very fluctuating with regards to how many subs I get per week. It fluctuates up and down, and it seems to be cyclical. I've mentioned that many times in my videos. I don't have any data besides my own videos to really capture this, but I'm curious to see with all the people in my case study program now, I'm tracking them as well. And it'll be interesting to see if they're experiencing these fluctuations as well. And then the impressions this week was 733,000 and estimated revenue 604 and RPM 1164. For those of you that are new to YouTube, RPM is basically revenue per mile. So it's how much revenue you make per 1,000 ads or per 1,000 views. So I make 1164 per 1,000 views of ads that have been seen. And thus it works out to be about $604 for the month or for the week. Okay, so that's the YouTube stuff. Let me actually show you in YouTube as well. I can show here. So if we go to overview, you can see all the things I just said. It's last 7 days, yeah. 52,000 views, 3.9 thousand watch time hours, 1.6 thousand subscribers, 604 estimated revenue. We can go into the revenue tab and actually go down and see the estimated revenue is 604, but the revenue for every 1K, the RPM is 1164. I had 51,000 views. And so that's how they get to $604. You can see which videos are making me the most money. And it's always the trending ones that make the most money for me. It's not usually the ones that are tutorial based. So there is some tutorial based ones here. Like this is a tutorial. This is a tutorial, basically how to revive an old channel and how to look at certain metrics. So these are making me money, but as you can see, the trending ones make more money. And then here you can see the months broken down. So July was the first month that I was monetized, and it was only about 2 weeks in July that I got monetized. So it was 296. August is 572, September was 715, and now for October, we're in the 3rd week of October, it's almost 2,000. So from the first full month that I had was August. You can see that this is, increasing quite a bit, and I hope that it continues. But yeah, so I just wanted to share this because I honestly thought in the beginning that I would stay around $500 per month or $500-600 per month with ad revenue, but it does seem to be increasing as I grow, which of course makes sense. More people watching your channel, more people watching views, or more views you're getting, more ads people are seeing, et cetera, it builds up. So yeah. And so now on average, my daily is around, I would say 70 if I look at this chart for the past week. And then if we go to other weeks, I'll just quickly show you last 30 days. You can see there's spikes and then there's lower days. But you can see like how it's going up and down. This is when you have a really trending video, it jumps up. This is where it was before that really trending videos. So yeah. And then estimated revenue is for the last 30 days is 2,325. And then if we go, let me go back to the 7 days. If you go in here, you can look at where your money is coming from. So watch page ads is mostly where my money comes from with regards to YouTube ads. And then shorts feed is a whole whopping 20 cents this week. Supers is nothing this week. And I'm not doing any affiliate program in here. I'm not even sure about this tab. I don't know much about it, so I can't really talk about that one. And then what else would you want to see in here? The one thing I want to say is that many of you know that I'm trying to improve. Let's see, where is my monetization thing? I'm trying to improve my click-through rate. I want to get that to 6%. And also my average percentage viewed. I would like this to be closer to 50%. Now, this is low because it's taking into account all the videos on my channel, right? And I still have all the videos I did when I first started, which was not that long ago, but that are lower viewed percentage. So if we go into channel analytics and content this way, you can click into each video and see the analytics. You need to do it when it's been a few days, not right away, because if you just post a video, you're not going to have analytics right away. But like if I look in, so this is a tutorial based one. So usually the viewing time on this, or the watch time percentage, is higher because it's something people want to learn and they stick around for it. Whereas the trending ones have less viewed percentage. So here you can see it's closer to what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for 50% viewed. And you can see that this is not a hockey puck. It's kind of just a slow fall off across the whole thing. So this is going in the right direction. If we go to something that is more trendy, like where's this one was super trendy, and I click on the analytics for this one, you will notice that the viewed percentage is 15%. So it's really low. And you also notice like this hockey puck, it's a much more drastic drop off in the beginning, and then it continues to drop off. And so my point is that even though I'm trying to get my viewed percentage up to 50%, I do trending videos every week, and trending videos for me don't get the full watch time. It seems like people just see the title, want to pop in for a second, see what's happening, and then they lose interest. Or if they're not my subscriber, they just pop out really fast. But I do get the majority of my subscriptions from these videos. So I want to show you that really quick too. And if you're in my Skool program, I talked about this in detail this past week during the live review or the live meeting. So you can go there and find that information. Okay, but if we go to see more, and we go down here, you can always add numbers you want to see. Like for example, subscribers is in here, but if I wanted to see average viewed percentage, I just click on this plus sign and then I search for whatever I want to see. So average percentage viewed. So I can show you here very quickly that the trending videos have very low percentage viewed, but the subscribers I gain is much higher than, say, where was that one about reviving your channel? Revive Your Dusty Channel. The percentage viewed is quite high, almost 50%, but the subscribers I gain from it is quite low. So I just want to share this so that you can maybe think about strategy, and also think about, if I was tracking this and I didn't know more details about this number, I would get depressed. I would be like, oh man, like my average viewed percentage is going down. That stinks. I'm doing something wrong. Whereas in reality, it's more that what have I posted recently? Or what's being watched more. And right now, these are the top videos, and all the top videos that are being watched are more trending videos, right? So it's decreasing. So it just, my point is, you want to understand the what's going on. And also the click-through rate for these videos is quite high. So 8.6, 7.0. So I said my desire is to have a 6% click-through rate. So again, if it's the tutorial ones usually have a lower click-through rate because they're more searchable items. They're more evergreen topics. And those have a lower click-through rate because people aren't necessarily interested in those when they're browsing. Whereas if they're browsing and these trending videos pop up, they're more likely to click on it. So yeah, just to understand like these numbers a little bit and not get depressed if like you're trying, like I'm trying to get my click-through rate up to 6%. It is above 6% for a lot of my videos, but I understand why it's not for certain videos, right? Because they're more tutorial how-to based versus, trending or whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of emphasize that. So when you are looking at your stats, you're not getting depressed, but you're also seeing how you are doing good or where you are doing well. Another thing I want to share is this one, ranking by views 10 out of 10. So this is, again, another like tutorial video. The impression click-through rate is quite good, 5.7, right? Because I'm trying to get near 6. So the click-through rate is actually quite good for this. But you see it's ranked 10 out of 10. Now, some people might be like, you know, a lot of courses you take say like, oh, you want to compete with yourself and always have your videos be in the 1, 2, or 3 spot of this thing. I actually disagree. It depends on your strategy and it depends on how you're building your channel. So I want to service or give value to my subscribers that are around. You know, I have 17,000 subscribers that are here for a reason. They're trying to grow their YouTube channel. So I want to provide them tutorials, how-tos, and all of that information that I possibly can to grow their channel. However, I do want to continually grow my channel. So thus I also do trending videos. So these videos, my tutorial videos, always come out 8, 9, or 10 when I post them. And I just know that and I expect that. So I don't even worry about this number when I post a tutorial video. Now, if I post a trending video, I'm more likely to watch this to make sure that the trending video that I tried to do accomplished what it's trying to do, right? So I want the trending videos to be 1, 2, you know, the top 2 slots, right? Which they are here. These are top 2. So yeah, I just wanted to share that as well, to see like the full picture of your statistics so that you can remain positive and not give up. You know, you might see some things like this is 10 out of 10. Oh, I'm doing horrible. No, I'm not doing horrible. This is feeding into a certain purpose, whereas the training videos serve into another purpose. This serves into giving value to my subscribers and helping them grow. The training videos help me to get new subscribers. So yeah, just understanding that I think is important. Okay, now let's go back to the monetization chart and go to the revenue part of this. So I wanted to share the revenue so we can see for October. It's the 3rd week of October. It's October 21st at the recording of this video. So I still have about a week left of October to get the full picture of this month. But as you can see, consulting is already not doubled, but it's improved from last month. And I have a lot less time to do these actually this month because now my 6-month program is taking a lot of the slots away from the people that want to have meetings with me for consulting. So yeah, so just to let you know, but it's still increasing because I am still getting people who want to coach with me one-on-one, and it's booked for the next 3 months. Case study group. So this is what I had payments coming into my PayPal this month for case study group. So September is when I was getting people into the case study group, and it was right at the end of September, beginning of October. So it depended on whether some people paid their first payment in September or their first payment in October. But I am not going to charge them for their next payment until November, regardless of whether they paid in September or October, because the program started in October. And so the next payment that I will send out to them will be in November. So this is kind of like all the people in the program, their payments are split into these 2 months. Okay, so basically it's, you know, $10,000 or $11,000 is what I have received from the 22 people in the case study group, and they are all paying different payment plans. Some have paid, you know, 1 time, 2 times, 6 times, and 12 times is what I was offering. So there's a variety of those things going on. Okay, and then YouTube ads. So you can see already from the previous months, we already talked about this in the analytics, but it's increasing, and it's, you know, dramatically increasing from last month, which is fantastic. And then you can see all that as well. Amazon KDP, I actually haven't checked if I've sold any books. It's not something I check very often, you guys, because honestly, it's like I'm not marketing this. I just have it in here because it is part of income that is coming into me. So I will check this by the end of the month, so we will have a clear number of this next week before the month closes out. VidIQ, I have received $786 for this so far this month. And then Sean Cannell, I still have not received anything. So I think people have gone into his program through like one of the workshops, and they have not purchased the program. Or if they have purchased the program, I'm still waiting for them to pass their 30-day guarantee or whatever, how long his guarantee is before they cancel. So excuse me. And then Amazon affiliates, $38.86 as of checking yesterday. So total revenue this month is $9,320. This is what has come in this month. Now, if we go down here, these are all the things that are going out this month. So I paid for Loom for the year. So this is one-time payment that's going to last the year. So I paid it one time. Zoom, I paid for the year, and this is in euros. And then MailChimp, Calendly, PayPal fees, and then this is the refunds. So this is what I was talking about earlier in this video. So $2,600 is in refunds. So that is for when people signed up in September and October. So out of the, what was it, like $11,000, $2,600 has been refunded. And this right now is for 3 people. So this was 3 different payment plans. One refund was $1,900, and another one was $400, and another one was $300. So that's the 3 people here. And I actually just received another, the 4th message I received last night or today, I can't remember. And so I need to do a refund. So I thought I would do a refund with you guys here so you could see that process. So then we can go into PayPal right now. Okay, so here we are in PayPal, and I want to show you what it's like to do a refund. So if I go in here and I search for the person I need to give the refund to, and I find this, they were billed, I sent them an invoice for $234 USD, and then they paid me, and there was a $12 fee. So now 221 is the amount that I'm going to refund them, because like I said, in my contract, it states that I will refund your money, but I will less the expenses that were paid or the service fees. So what you do in PayPal, it's super easy to refund in PayPal, is you go to these 3 dots and you click on refund. And then 221 is what I'm refunding. So original payment, 234, amount remaining, 234. I'm going to do 221 as the refund amount. And then I'm going to mention refund minus fees from PayPal. And then I'm going to hit issue refund. So we know that we double check everything is correct. This is what I want to send. And then I do issue refund. The reason it's showing a comma is because I live in Europe. We put commas in between rather than a decimal. So that's why, if it looks weird to you. And then it gives me this message, 210 USD refunded to so-and-so, and then you can do what you want from here. So that I just wanted to show you. And then I'm going to go into my chart, and I'm going to add 221 to this. 21 has been refunded. So I can delete this because now I've done the refund for you guys. So this is how much I have refunded this month. And it seems like a huge chunk of money, right? It is a big chunk of money, but it's also like, this is going to happen in the beginning months once you launch a program. You know, it's going to, like, before the 30, I would say that before the 30 days is over, I might receive more refunds. And then from November on, for the next 5 months, I will have my solid group of people that I'm working with. Again, down here, so now we can see the expenses this month. There's quite a lot of expenses. So the total expenses this month is 6,432. And that is because I paid my coach, the refunds, all these things that I needed to purchase in order to have my school community and Zoom calls and all of that stuff. And then here is the gross income taken from up here, and then subtracting out the total expenses. And then the net income is 288.42. So this month I'm making a lot less than I was last month. However, again, I'm also chewing or eating a lot of fees right now for some things. So right now, if I hadn't paid my coach, this would be, you know, closer to 5,000 for the month. But I wouldn't even have this income if I didn't have this coach. So that is why, you know, like, I'm happy to take a cut this month and have a lower income. And still, 2,800 is a great income for me and my family for the month. And I'm happy with that. Even though after taxes, it will probably only be about 1,500, 1,700 that I will be taking home. But again, it's okay, because last month I took home 6,000, or not, didn't take home 6,000. I probably took home 3,500 after taxes. So, you know, it's just, I know that this month is going to be a little crazy, and September as well, because of the feed in my coach. Okay, so that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in the next video.